Alright, so I'm trying to stack this guy on top of this guy, but I wanted to add like some sort of like cool glow aura around it. Like I've already got like the gold imagery behind all the lettering and whatnot, so there's like 5 or 6 layers there, but then there's also this black glow, which is pretty necessary to actually read it once I put it on top of there and get rid of some of the transparency. So I'm going to make it the opacity, make it a little translucent so you can see through it. But I've been having a hard time figuring that out until right now. So go in here and make an outline, which is how I get the outlines for all the layers that I do. Just make an outline of the one beforehand. And then, however, when you have the glow in there already, it outlines that glow. I need it to be like inside of, like I don't want to see the actual outline that I'm shooting for. I just need like an anchor point basically for the golden glow that I want to come from kind of the center of the image here. So, boom. Bro, I figured it out. That's so sick. That's gonna be beautiful. Okay, got that. Sick. Now what we do, we take this image with all the new glow and everything. It's all stacked and it's all different layers. We turn it into one bitmap. Force that DPI size my computer will let me, which is about 310 to 350 depending on the intricacy of that. Okay, so now the other irritating thing is this outline has this like excess space created with the glow effect. Okay, so we gotta kind of like, the reason that's annoying when I go to print and cut it and shit, it reads that box, not the actual shape of the thing. So what we have to do, we already have this one down here. Just kidding. We're gonna make that one a bit more too. Yeah. And we're getting pretty close to about half masters. So we're gonna have to reboot the programming soon. But anyway, so now that we got them both their own things, we can select them, move in here, align space, stack them on top of one another. We're gonna have to move this front picture to the back. Boom. This is already a bitmap, right? Image tools, mask, and then take your transparency or your opacity meter here. I like to start at 200, just kind of see what it gives you. Now I know in this particular instance I can probably knock that down to like $140 and it would still look really good just because all of the colors are very in unison. However, there's not really a point to, because like it's an AI image of a grand, it's not a real image of a Grand National. It's an image I like prompted and created it and then edited heavily in here. So like, I don't know, I feel like the Grand National in front will suffice, and the fact that it looks exactly like one, but I'm going to go down to like 220 just a little bit, just because that shows like a little bit of design. Stop recording there. Weird angle. So we did that. We stacked them on top of one another, right? Got it all aligned and spaced out. Just make sure to save it. Close the program and reopen the program. This is to dump the excess files. Otherwise, like when you go to remaster it after you've saved it and made it all one solid piece, it's just not gonna work. Those are not. We don't want to open the save files from earlier today. So we go and open the one we just created and made. Now remember, the goal was to get rid of that excess box around here, okay? The way we're going to do that is by taking this and now tracing it. Now that we've made it the one bitmap, like all one piece completely, that aura is like, it's not real. Like, it doesn't pass that line. So now we can just go into our image tools, go to the mask option, trace the mask. Now, tracing the mask is extraordinarily different than vectorizing. Just throwing that out there. So, like, if you're fucking around with this stuff, they are not the same thing. Very, very different. But trace mask, honestly, with the way that I'm doing this, I use the trace mask option more so than I do vectorization to create the imagery when I'm printing. Like, it's wonderful. So now we go and hit trace, and all this is doing is drawing an outline around the image that we've created due to the fact that it's based on a white backline. So it's basically just creating a transparent background in layman's terms. Just takes a minute because I upsized it to 5K by 5K. And before we print it, we're actually going to shoot that up to even more so. I'll show you. Alright, so now we've got that. It's traced. Otherwise, this image is generally done. On this hoodie right now, I'm kind of limited on my paper. The biggest I have is 11 by 17. So what we're going to do is we're going to unlock the dimension lock there. We're going to make it 14 inches wide, and we're going to make it 10.65 inches tall. 10.65 due to the fact that the paper is 11 inch wide, and nothing in printing or vinyl cutting is true numbers. Like if it's 24, it's not. It's 23 or 23 and a half. If it's 11, it's fucking not. it's 10.65. So just be prepared for that shit. Always undershoot a tiny bit. Like it's annoying, but it's very worth it. So now we've got that traced. We've got that in the right shape and size. Now, however, it thinks, because all we did was change the size in Vinyl Master here, that didn't actually change the aspect ratio of the pixels of the picture. As you can see up here, it's still in a 1:1 aspect ratio. So the way to get the highest imagery here is to now convert it into a bitmap. It'll ask if you want to resample. You don't. You're going to do that after. You want to turn it into a bitmap. And then you just hit up or down on the DPI at all. It'll swap over to the right shape, make it that image again, and again go in and trace it. Just this is purely based upon having the most accurate print information. Like it's the truest way to get the right size of the thing you're making. So it's like it takes a second, but it's definitely like 1000% worth doing. It's also the best way to shove as many pixels into there as possible, because otherwise it's trying to shove like just nothing into nothing in these little spaces that don't have any actual imagery, and it's fucking pointless. So we do that, trace it. Yeah, sorry, this takes so long in this part. Well, it's not so long. It took like 15 minutes to make the design, which is pretty dope, so I'll fucking take it. These used to take like 6 hours, though. I'll tell you that. Alright, so now we've got it retraced. And now, again, to dump the files. Because when we do a resample, to achieve the highest resample, we want the most naked version of this file as possible. So we're going to go up here and save it again and reset our program. I highly recommend having internal SSDs, like a couple terabytes or bigger, because you do this portion quite often. Like, it's fucking irritating, but you need to be able to open really large files over and over and over again. So now we come in here, we've got our thing, okay? Notice how it changed the size of it just a tiny bit, because it's a sneaky bitch and it does that every time. I'm not sure why yet. Maybe if I actually lock the image in place it won't, but it's not that big a deal because we can just resize it, relock it, come into here, image tools. Now we can resample, and it's going to give us the aspect ratio that we actually want. Meaning when we go to resample it, I can put a couple extra thousand in there. Like if it was a 1:1 aspect ratio, this computer does not allow me to go over 10,000 pixels. If it's that, where it's closer to like a 6, 8, 7, 8, I can get up to about 11,000. Sometimes it lets me do 12, but for the sake of the video, I don't want to fail right now, and I know for a fact it'll let me do 11. So we're going to do that. Now again, a lot of this is a waiting game. You just kind of watch it load for a second. So now it's loaded, but like if I click around, it'll say not responding. So you gotta give it a minute. It takes a sec to actually do its thing. Okay. Now we click on it. Now we have that for a fucking DPI. So like normal average high quality printing DPI is 300, 785. Like the color saturation of that is going to be so much higher than an average